Hey guys, welcome back to an episode of Tell It to Trevor. I'm your host, Trevor Shelley, and today on my podcast I have
Hastur. That's right, Hastur.
what sparked yeah, what sparked your interest in the professional wrestling industry?
In the industry, I used to be a theater kid, so just mixing that
Okay.
with all the sports and the athletics I played, it just seemed like a natural chemistry.
Who were the wrestlers you idolized as a kid, like the wrestlers you grew up liking? And
Well, as a kid, it definitely was Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels growing up.
okay,
Yeah, and then as I got a little older, I started getting into more stuff like Ultimo Dragon and Lucian Thunder Liger.
how did you get your start in the wrestling world?
It happened right after COVID. I had lost my brother, and it was just one of them things where it's like you have kind of have the realization about how short life is. It's like just needed something that I always wanted to do, and it was wrestling. And I just so happened to see that Lions Pride was in my town. So the only excuse I used to make for myself was I couldn't drive that far because I had a shoot job. But it's in town, so there's no
Okay,
excuse. So
yeah. What was your first wrestling match like?
full of nerves. Lucky for me, because of the size, it was a squash match, so nothing too complicated. Just getting out there and just like showing my stuff.
What are your goals for the future in the wrestling business?
My goals might be a little different from most people because I've started out a little later, kind of DDP style. Just I might have 10, 12 years maybe, and I'm just trying to get the most out of it as I can.
Can you describe your wrestling persona or character for someone that has not heard of you before? Since we do have fans in 7 different countries, not counting the USA.
Oh yeah, definitely. What happened is I found the yellow sign, and it led me to a book. And when I read that book, it just changed everything. My perspective on reality, seeing time as a flat circle, everything that has happened before is happening again, and it just kind of disillusioned me onto the way society is. And so now I take all that information I gained and the price I paid for that knowledge, and I now go enlighten everyone else in the wrestling world on just what I've learned.
Um, can you share a memorable moment from your wrestling career so far?
Oh, big time. Had one of my biggest matches was when at King of Sports went up one on one with Noby Bryant in front of about 400 kids in a high school. One of the craziest environments I've wrestled in so far. They were really into it.
Can you describe the feeling of winning your first championship?
Ooh, that's a that's a bittersweet feeling right there. I don't know if you know the term lacrimose, but it's one of them things where you're trying hard and you finally get what you've been working hard, but you've been putting all this effort, this blood, sweat, and tears, and then it's right there in your hands, and you realize that it's a target. You know, it's not a prize to be won; it's something to be defended. And it comes as much as it is great to feel that winning. It also comes with a lot of pressure to keep on winning.
Um, how do you handle the mental and emotional aspects of wrestling?
I think coming in a little older has helped me with that. I come in already been working a shoot job, 2 to 3 shoot jobs at a time, 60, 80 hours a week. So coming into this wrestling, it's a little less stressful than what I'm used to already.
Yeah. So we're about to start this segment called Trev Shack. I don't know if you've heard of it before.
I have not.
All right. So it is like in business meetings, you have those rapid fire questions.
Hmm.
So mine is you got 50 seconds to answer 6 questions.
Okay.
And the goal is to beat that time.
Beat that time. Six
Yeah.
questions, 50 seconds. All right.
Yeah. I'll start the timer after the first question. So You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite pre-show snack.
What was that?
Favorite pre-show
Favorite
snack.
pre-show snack is just regular granola.
Pre-show song.
Pre-show song would be the Resident Evil 7 save room music.
Favorite wrestler growing up.
Favorite wrestler Bret Hart.
Favorite sports team.
Dallas Cowboys.
Favorite color.
Black.
Favorite type of music.
Alternative pop.
Okay. So you beat it with 28 seconds remaining.
Nice.
But it's not the record.
Oh shoot! Somebody's rapid firing over there.
The record is 35 seconds, holded by Corey Dillinger.
Oh, that man knew his answers. That guy knows his heart.
Yep. What are the biggest challenges of being a professional wrestler outside of the ring?
Is knowing how to turn off, basically. I had a lot of experience doing that growing up in theater. You hop up on stage, you're a character, and you're no longer that. With wrestling, it's a little harder because the best characters are just that person turned up to 10. And so when you're getting yourself that
Yeah.
hyped up, it's hard to bring you back down to being a normal person. And I think finding a balance is what makes it really easy to not be so stressed out about it.
How do you feel about the business side of wrestling, and then how do you feel about promotion shaping the storylines?
The business, it's in a weird spot right now, I'd say. It's kind of going through fluctuations of, you had your attitude area at peak interest, kind of slipped off at the bottom. Now it's popped back up again with Triple H taking over and new management and them being the main show of the industry. Like when you think of wrestling, you think of WWE. I think of them being able to get into celebrities and doing all that stuff is nice, but I kind of wish it would go back more to almost like an authentic sports feel, kind of how A.W. said they were going to do, but haven't really got to it yet. And I think finding
Yeah.
a little balance in between that would get our business real good. And as far as like producers go, I think it's hard to have a producer that hasn't wrestled or hasn't been in the business. So I think for WWE, that's not something I have to worry about. But when you have somebody whose only experience is
Yeah.
writing like movies and they have to come and tell you that you're going to do this weird spot and all this other stuff, and then they're like, oh yeah, and then you'll go inside and wrestling. It's like, well, sorry, sir, wrestling is what's supposed to tell the story, and then everything else is supposed to be extra. So I think if you can find a producer or a writer who's actually been in the business and can help you go over that, I think that's a good balance
Yeah.
of having somebody creatively and somebody physically who can meet together and come up with a nice story.
Let's see. If you could wrestle any legendary wrestler from the past, who would it be and why?
Ooh, dang, that's a hard question. Now, would I want to have like a cool, just straight wrestling match, or do I want to have a spectacle? Ooh, I don't know. I think a good balance for a spectacle would be just like 1997 Undertaker, big, mean.
Okay.
Yeah, but if I was just going off of something crazy, give me Terry Funk as Chainsaw Charlie, and let's have a Texas death match. Loser leaves town.
Okay. And why?
Terry Funk has that old school, just, and if honestly, if I want to have a career, it'd be like Terry Funk, because just his longevity is what I'm shooting for. That being able to still go. And he was never like a catch as catch can style wrestler, but just being able to get over that persona and just having that, that ambiance as soon as you walk out,
Yeah.
hell of a thing.
I'm guessing you're taking your night walk right now, I'm guessing?
Yeah, my house is being renovated, so I'm kind of popped out in the back 40 with the mobile Wi-Fi.
Okay. Okay. If you could go to a wrestling seminar session with any wrestler, who would you pick?
Right now, at the moment, it'd be John Grisham.
John Grisham?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get out, because just for that, he's so good at bringing like shoot jujitsu moves and making them into the story that I think just getting an hour with him would really just get me on the right track.
If you could have a wrestling legend as your mentor, who would you choose?
Ooh, that's a good toss up between Bret Hart and like on the odd side would be Roddy Piper. Because
Okay.
a lot of a lot of people don't say it, but like Roddy was always like he was for the boys, and I feel like he's willing to like let you know, hey, that sucks, dude. Don't do that, or he tell you, hey, why'd you stop doing that? That's good. From all the backstories I
Yeah.
heard, he'd be like a nice, cool dude, and then plus we get to go chill and drink afterwards. So
What's your opinion on the wrestling crossover events with other sports or entertainment industries?
yeah, it can either be really cool or really bad. We did a
Yeah.
halftime show for a roller derby, which was just a street fight
Okay.
with no ring, and that went pretty good. But then I've also been a part of a show where they had boxing matches in between the wrestling, and if it's a good match, it works. But if it's like a 2 minute hold fest and everybody gets disqualified, it kind of makes the next wrestling match have to really pick up the pace.
Yeah. What advice would you give to an aspiring wrestler?
Just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. There's the days you're not even gonna be able to do a roll. There's some days it's gonna hurt. There's some days where you feel like you're just climbing a ladder to nowhere. But if as long as you just keep climbing and keep showing up, eventually something will happen. Because the day you stop showing up is the day the chance of anything happen will just go away.
Can you talk about a significant feud you had and how it helped you grow as a wrestler?
I said, what was the first? You say a feud?
Yes.
I had my first coming up. My big major feud was Matthias, who's a big Lions Pride guy right now, and just being able to have like a it was really my first main event trilogy type still. We had 3 matches, and then second match pretty good. The third match kind of had a little wonky ending. I took a shot to the back of the head with a chair, so I kind of forgot the last part of it. But just being in that, just that whole main event, physicality, being able to show off who you are, having an opponent that matches your intensity, it's just boom. That was the first time I was able to feel like I got this crowd, and they're gonna go where I take them.
What was it like working with a particular wrestler that you clicked with in the ring?
Was that? Say it one more time.
What was it like working with a particular wrestler you clicked with in the ring?
Oh, for one instance, I had a little. My first big height difference with Bo Amir, big almost 7 foot guy, and it was just real tricky getting spots in to be able to not to keep him looking strong, but at the same time me getting offense without tearing down a giant. It was kind of hard to get in that balance, and that's one of the ones. If I could have a rematch, it'd be with him, so we can work that out again.
Can you describe your training process and what was the most challenging part of learning to be a wrestler?
For me, might be a little different people. It's working through injuries. I came in with a lot of injuries. Tore my ACL, MCL, LCL, meniscus, petiscus, all in high school and college. And coming back doing MMA, did a lot of stuff to my rotator cuff and shoulder. So when I first got into
Yeah.
wrestling, first weekend I tore my meniscus in my right leg. So that was already a decision to make to either have surgery, come back healthy, or just push through. And I stone coated it. Just put on a knee brace and been working through it ever since. And so that's the main thing, just working through that
What
pain.
hobbies? Yep. What hobbies bring you joy outside of the wrestling world?
Bring joy. Surprisingly, bowling is one of the things that I like doing.
Oh,
Yeah, I like going early morning, right when it opens. I get that early bird discount, and I'll just take the lane by myself for 2 hours. And I actually play against myself on my left hand versus my right hand. And then,
okay.
yeah, that in video games, definitely.
I feel like since all I hear everybody's talking about video games, I feel like you can't be a wrestler if you don't play video games.
See, that's even that would be a little. I know a couple wrestlers, older dudes, they wouldn't touch a video game. But like
Okay.
some of the wrestlers playing games right now, they might not even be playing the same games I play. I'm more of a survival game. I'll be on Subnautica for like 30 hours. So
Okay. What is your favorite gear that you have ever had made?
My favorite what?
Gear.
Gear. Oh, my first singlet. First singlet.
Okay.
Shout out to Kenzie Carson at Lions Pride. She made it for me, and it was just that's one of the first I put it on, and it's like that'd be another tip to everybody out there who's like wanting to get into business. Take the time, get the money, and get actual gear. It's one thing to be able to throw on an ensemble and be able to wrestle. That's fine, but when you get your own gear specialized for you, and you look in that mirror, if you don't feel like a wrestler, then I don't really know what's going to do it for you.
Yeah. And then the last question is, where can they find you on social media?
If I'm at social media, two spots. On Facebook, I am Hastur, the Feaster from Afar. And then on Instagram, you can find me at the yellow sign. And also, you can find my twin brother, Hatchet Manson. Same place on Instagram.
And then thank you for being on the podcast today.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And then a big shout out to the sponsors of Wrestling Evolution, TBD Wrestling, Apple City Championship Wrestling.
Nice. Shout out to them.
And then, guys, we have a t-shirt contest going on. Fans and wrestlers are welcome to enter in it. There are two separate ones, one for the wrestlers and one for the fans. There's 5 designs on there. You just pick one and then put your name, your social media, your Instagram, and your shirt size. And then by the time WrestleCade hits the weekend of Black Friday, we'll have a winner.
Oh, y'all better hurry up and get in on there. Get you a shirt by Black Friday.
Exact Black Friday in November, so they got time.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for my new fans over in India.
Oh, yeah. You got to get the time to get it shipped over there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again for being on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, y'all have a good one.
You too.